It's an important day as far as restoration of faith in the game of cricket is concerned. After 6 months of investigation, it's finally D-Day in Indian cricket. The Supreme Court appointed Lodha committee will announce their verdict on the IPL fixing scandal. Will it be the end game for the Super Kings and Royals, or will they escape with just a fine? What about Gurunath Mayappan and Raj Kundra, both guilty of betting? And more importantly, will the Lodha report be the final chapter in the IPL scandal?
Gurunath Mayappan, Raj Kundra, Chennai Super Kings, Rajasthan Royals, Sundar Raman, and above all, the BCCI. The future of all hangs in the balance as the Lodha committee is all set to announce their verdict on the quantum of punishment in the IPL spot fixing scandal that rocked Indian cricket back in 2013. And after 6 months of detailed investigations, the 3 former judges are all set to announce what many feel will be a landmark judgment. All eyes will be on Mayappan and Kundra. The two were already found guilty of betting by the initial Mudgal report, with even a charge sheet filed against Gurunath. The final punishment for the two will be revealed today. But that's not all. The future of the Chennai Super Kings and Rajasthan Royals will also be sealed. With owners involved in betting, it remains to be seen if the franchises too face a ban or suspension or get away with just a fine. IPL Chief Operating Officer Sundar Raman's role in the IPL fixing scandal will be examined, and they could also impose a punishment on him on behalf of the BCCI. The panel was also asked to make recommendations, including changes to the BCCI constitution if needed, to clean our cricket. Moreover, the investigations could also expose N. Srinivasan. The then BCCI president was forced to step down by the Supreme Court, but his involvement in covering up the scam could be revealed. Also, the punishment could go to the extent of the 2 franchises being totally scrapped. So that puts the future of the much-fancied IPL in total jeopardy. One thing is clear, the verdict shall be final and binding upon all parties, including the BCCI. Some parties can challenge the decision since they have criminal cases going on against them. So a landmark judgment is awaited. With so many in focus, the verdict could determine the road ahead for Indian cricket. Sports Bureau, India Today.
And because this is a very important story, we are taking this story very importantly over here at India Today. We'll be joined in by a number of experts and also our team of reporters who are in fact tracking each and every development. But first, let's take a look at some breaking news coming in at this moment. Following his BCCI suspension, Mumbai cricketer Hikain Shah's league stint in England has come to a premature end. He will be returning to India soon to face BCCI disciplinary proceedings. Let's quickly go across to Rasesh Mannani. We'll be going across to Rasesh in just a short moment from now. But Boria, we actually got the story for our viewers yesterday about Hikain Shah being suspended, being removed from all forms of cricket by the BCCI. Now it seems that as a part of procedure, his stint is now coming to an end.
Yeah, it's natural. I mean, BCCI rules should be applicable in the UK. The county where Hikain Shah is playing, in normal circumstances, should get in touch with the ECB to check if Hikain Shah can continue, and the answer would be a no. Hikain Shah will have to come back to India to face disciplinary proceedings, try and appeal his verdict, try and prove his innocence. So that's the natural course of action, Sanket. Fact of the matter is, if he is guilty, obviously he will have a chance to prove innocence, and his family claims he is innocent, so does he. But if he is guilty, this might be a death blow to his career, and he might well be facing an end to his cricket career.
Okay. A quick second breaking news that we are getting this morning. Rajasthan Royals co-owner Raj Kundra has now tweeted on the eve of the big IPL decision. He has said, and we quote, "A trap is only a trap if you don't know about it. If you know about it, it's a challenge. Good night. Tomorrow's going to be quite a day." Unquote. This is what he actually tweeted late last night. Let's go across to Rasesh and perhaps understand what exactly this tweet means. Rasesh, were you able to decode this highly encrypted tweet of Raj Kundra?
Sanket, perhaps Raj Kundra trying to be brave a night before the big judgment day for him and his franchise and the entire IPL fraternity. But you know, his voice has already been heard. It's his lawyers have fought for him, and now it's up to Justice Mudgal and its committee to come out with the verdict. You know, we spoke to Raj Kundra a few months back where he said that he believes he hasn't betted, he hasn't done anything wrong. But remember, Justice Mudgal, appointed by the Supreme Court, did conclude that Raj Kundra did indulge in betting, and he was one of the owners or acted as an owner, which simply puts the facts before Justice Lodha committee to adjudicate. You know, if he's seen as being involved in betting, if he's seen as being one of the owners of Rajasthan Royals franchise, would that not be fit for a case of the franchise being terminated? Would Justice Lodha read on those lines? You know, that's something that we'll have to wait and see. So I think Raj Kundra just trying to be brave, but he knows that his fate is now in the hands of Justice Lodha and how he reads the entire investigation.
Absolutely, and interesting when he says a trap is only a trap if you don't know about it. If you know about it, it's a challenge. So perhaps an attempt to you know, appear brave a night before or a day before this particular crucial verdict. In the studio right now in Delhi, I am joined in by India Today's managing editor Vinay Tiwari. Morning, Vinay. Not from the point of view of all the czars who are in question over here, not from the point of view of the high-impact journalism that has happened over the past 1 year, but from the point of view of the common viewer, a person who looks at cricket as a form of religion, a form of worship, a form of entertainment in this country. What does the verdict today actually entail?
Well, I think quite simply, Sanket, and from the viewer's point of view, it's a test of faith. I think in the last year and a half or so, the faith of an ordinary viewer in what happens on the field was shaken up pretty badly. Ever since the Delhi police came up with those allegations against Sri Shant and 2 other Rajasthan Royals players. There have been a series of events since then, the latest one being yesterday, which has almost proved that such approaches by illegal, you know, people who are operating illegally around cricketing establishments has not ended. Today, in that sense, it's a test case on how hard or strongly our system can come down on such people who perhaps indulge in illegal activities. I think what is a given is that an illegal activity will happen wherever there is money and glamour involved. Right. The question is, can the system respond to it adequately or not? Today is a test of it.
And we are not talking about ordinary money. I mean, this is IPL, which at any given point has close to 22,000 crore rupees riding. So that's the amount of money that we are actually talking about. So it's more of an exercise in restoration of faith.
That's right, and IPL is also a combination of 2 religions of India. One is cricket and the other is glamour. Cinema and glamour and cricket come together in IPL, and along with corporate interest and political interest, it's a heady cocktail. These are also the areas where people are losing faith fairly rapidly. Glamour as an industry has another connotation to it, but certainly in terms of the political class, there is a lack of faith in the way systems are run. Today, because it's a Supreme Court-led investigation, very obviously, this is something which is going to be a watershed moment for Indian cricket.
Okay, let's find out from Anusha, who's joining us from the national capital, what really to expect today. Morning, Anusha. If you could just tell us what really to expect as far as this Justice Lodha committee report is concerned. I mean, there is a lot of speculation on whether cleaning of the cricket will actually happen or not. There are certain possibilities that are being, you know, considered, has been considered by the committee as well. Just take us through this entire report. What to expect from this report?
Sanket, if you remember back on 22nd January 2015 was the time when a judgment led by Justice Thakur at the Supreme Court had formed the Lodha committee, and there were certain tasks that were given to the Lodha committee, and the top of the priority was to decide the quantum of punishment for Gurunath Mayappan, Raj Kundra and also their franchisees. What the Supreme Court concluded, agreeing with the Mudgal committee report, was that Gurunath Mayappan, Raj Kundra were team officials and involved in betting. What is essential to note here that the action coming in today, quite frankly, would be under the administrative rules of the BCCI and the anti-corruption code. So what we're rightly expecting is some kind of fine or maybe an outright ban. We'll have to wait and watch. There are a lot of speculations around that, but that is a question only at 1 PM we'll be able to answer. But however, there is also the point where the Supreme Court had asked the Lodha committee to look into the memorandum of association of the BCCI, of the Board of Cricket cricket control in India, and to look at the kind of rules it has that promote the situations of conflict of interest and how in the future one can prevent these situations.
Okay, let's see if we can actually pull out a presentation that we have prepared here on India Today on the likely scenarios or the possibilities as far as this particular report is concerned. We had actually prepared that presentation for you, and while we pull that out, let me quickly bring in Boria at this moment. Boria, if you remember, for close to 1.5 years, we have extensively been reporting each and every twist and turn as far as clean our cricket is concerned. Just take us through how today is actually going to be a grand culmination of, one, as Vinay says, restoration of faith, and number two, actually an honest and perhaps the first big attempt at cleaning the cricket.
You know, Sanket, first things first, let's put it to our viewers in very simple terms. This is perhaps a day when Indian cricket and world cricket will change forever. You know, either way, it will impact the IPL, whether two teams will be there or not there. Now, if two teams are not there, IPL changes, Indian cricket changes, world cricket changes, because all world stars play in this competition for the Chennai Super Kings and the Rajasthan Royals. So I don't think in recent cricket history there has ever been a day of that significance like today. So it's immense significance. Okay, coming to decoding restoration of faith, the fact of the matter is, you know, first, today it will be only the disciplinary part. It will not be the memorandum of understanding that Anusha was telling us. The BCCI constitutional part will not be announced today. So what can you expect today? You can expect punishment for CSK, punishment for RR, punishment for Raj Kundra and Gurunath Mayappan. Whether or not on Sundar Raman will be pronounced today, we don't know. But the fact is, whatever happens to these teams means India's captain, leading players, world's players will be affected. And that will be the culmination of restoration of faith. Because for the longest time we have been asking these questions. If an owner bets, does this mean that the team will be scrapped according to Article 11.3? If an owner is found guilty, does this mean that the franchise turns terminated or suspended according to IPL rules? We don't know the answers to these things yet, but this is a committee with impeccable integrity. Justice R.M. Lodha, Justice Bhan and Justice Ravindran. By the way, they have been conducting investigations all over the country. In Calcutta, they were there on the 22nd of June. They sent 82 questions to the BCCI, and I have read those questions, which goes down to the absolute minutest detail saying this is how you should work or this is a problem. You know, and in Calcutta, they met the BCCI president. They've met former presidents across the country. They've done the investigation to
So actually, Boria, what you're suggesting is something very important. What you're actually saying is something very, very significant, Vinay, because, you know, the point is that apart from finding those who are guilty of actually bringing the, bringing shame to this particular sport, there is also a possibility which might not be considered openly at this moment, because the focus is going to be to punish the guilty, will be to actually suggest changes, how to improve or make sure that there is some form of a deterrent in the future.
That's right. And I think to simplify what Boria was saying even further, a lot of people may not know that BCCI is actually a society. And because it's a society, they have what is called the Memorandum of Understanding. There is an article of Memorandum of Understanding, which is pretty much their constitution. This is what Supreme Court has told them, committee, that you need to rewrite that constitution, looking into the way the thing is run currently and the way it should be run. So what Boria is actually saying is that but today that will not happen, but whenever that report comes in, it will fundamentally alter the way BCCI is currently run.
And let's talk about a few such areas. Possible areas of recommendations are organization, structure, accounts, finances and auditing, player welfare, dispute resolution, conflict of interest. Which, according to these core areas, do you think has to be addressed the most?
Well, I think all of them in many ways. And the larger feeling that everybody had, including the courts, was that it was like a private cabal. They would change rules according to what they wanted. It was only a group of 4 or 5 or 10 people who would sit and decide on everything on a subject or an issue which involved millions of followers in India. There's a lot of money riding on it. There's faith riding on it.
It's actually a company registered with Tamil Nadu.
Absolutely. And that is why I think all of these issues are important, because each one of them impacts the way the game is run in India and the way it is consumed by people in India.
Okay, we will carry on this discussion. Remember, today at 12 p.m. onwards, we begin our continuous coverage as this verdict or this Justice Lodha recommendations are actually going to come out. Now, why is the Justice Lodha Committee verdict so crucial? Well, this is why. It could nail N. Srinivasan's involvement in covering up Mayappan's role. It could, an order on IPL CEO Sundar Raman could reveal a deep-rooted nexus between the wrongdoers as well as those in the organization. Banning or suspension of franchisees could actually put the, or in part put the IPL in jeopardy. That's also a fear that exists. Recommendations to streamline BCCI functioning will then be binding on the board. And what does that actually mean? That means that it could make the biggest cricket board in the world accountable to the public, something which is not the case at this moment. Now let's look at the various possibilities that exist today. It's a D-Day for IPL, particularly for Rajasthan Royals and Chennai Super Kings. Now, Chennai Super Kings and Rajasthan Royals be suspended or banned? Well, that appears likely, but we will have to wait for that verdict to come out. Chennai Super Kings and Rajasthan Royals could be fined heavily. That appears less likely. Now, this is according to the experts that we have actually spoken to. Next, one of the franchisees could be suspended, banned, others just fined. That's also likely. Not highly likely, but likely. Both franchisees could be docked points for next season. Well, that's a little unlikely at this moment. So these are the various possibilities that exist as far as this Justice Lodha verdict is concerned.